Good day, my YouTube familiar. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I want us to talk about linguistics, and this is something dear to me. And I will give you a little bit of background how I ended up into linguistics. At school, we never heard about linguistics. I mean, that's one topic no one talks about. People talk about language, but not linguistics per se. So what happened was during my grade 12 year, I actually applied to a number of universities and I wanted to study commerce. So I was, I got approvals from a number of universities for accounting as well as economics. But then I didn't have the funds to study those. And I only got funding to study linguistics. And at that stage, it was something that I didn't know. So I was reluctant even. When I got to the university, I remember having these doubts. You know, linguistics, the same doubts that you are sitting with, parents are sitting with, everybody is sitting with. What am I going to do with linguistics? And first semester, we started talking about language in society, how, language and society interacts and all that. And why is it important to study language? Is it important? I mean, is language is a political tool. We heard a number of things about it, but we didn't know. So, and I still had those doubts. But after the first year, I came to realize that this is one area that is still, that is still empty compared to other areas like other disciplines like accounting. If you look at the graduation, the graduates for accounting or for any other discipline, you would be surprised. But when it comes to linguistics, and not only linguistics, there's one that I want to add as well, because when I was studying, I also studied anthropology. And I've realized that when you talk to someone about anthropology, no one knows that much about it. And those are the disciplines that no one talks about. People are talking about, all these other fields, and it is congested. It's getting congested, by the way. So we need to be extra careful what kind of advice we give to our kids. So let me tell you, with regard to linguistics, the importance thereof. Linguistics, it's the scientific study of language. So we are interested in not to speak a number of languages. We often get this question. So you are a linguist. How many languages do you speak? Let me tell you today, I am unable to speak so many, but I can analyze a number of them based on, I can do a scientific study of language at the formal levels of phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, pragmatics, and so forth. And then there are also other, popular kind of disciplines of late, whereby we are looking at language as part of popular cultures. And, I always make this example of my students. Language is everywhere. Hip hop. You guys, you talk about hip hop, about your identity, about what, language is there. So I want to tell you today or put you at ease that those who are studying linguistics, I would dissect it. I wouldn't just say do linguistics. When you are communicating to me, for example, to anybody, what do you use? You use language, whether you like it or not. So you can be an engineer, you can be an accountant, you can be, some of these reports needs to be communicated using language. And that's why, we have got this confidence of promoting our discipline. And, looking at the applied dimension of it, go to the courtrooms. In the courtroom, you would find that, someone is standing there who doesn't understand English, but then being tried in English. Now, a translator, interpreter needs to be called in. What's that? Language. Whether you like it or not, we are together. You can go to the banks. I've seen, and I was so excited when I realized that one of our students is actually a copy editor at one of the banks. And normally we think that banks and whatever, you can't enter, that space as a linguist. I'm telling you, copy editors from banks, they are part and parcel of linguistics because you need to verify marketing nowadays. Which words do you select to put there, before you actually put it out there? Recently we have seen adverts of the cultural side of things being included in adverts, whereby our languages are being used to attract more and more speakers of a particular language group and so on. That is language. So whatever you do, Language is part and parcel. And it's unfortunate, when people talk of translation, and there is a shortage of translators in Namibia, for example, and not only Namibia, Southern Africa. I mean, to find translators, language editors, and so on. But then someone on the other side wants to make us believe that we are not important. Someone talks about the alphabet letters. You want to use a computer and then you want to type something. You need the alphabet letters. Where does that come from? Language. Whether you like it or not, you would be using language in everyday life. We have got, we call it the linguistic landscapes nowadays, whereby issue of power is practiced using language. So that is, for example, if I hate a particular language group, what I would do, whenever I put posters out there, I would exclude their language, because language, can reflect power. It can show who is actually, the boss around there. So those are the kind of things, when it comes to language, and why linguistics is so important. And I only mentioned about the legal side of things. Please don't worry. That's my phone, by the way. This is how it looks. I've been having this phone for the past 5 years, and we are still doing very well. So yeah, so let me take you to the health space, for example. You need to communicate prescriptions. You need to communicate how you feel. In what language do you do that? And do you know that by virtue of the language that you use, you can either go to the grave or you can survive? Do you know that, how serious this can be? And that's language. Whether you underestimate it, I'm telling you today, whatever discipline you are, don't use language and use something else, to communicate whatever you are doing. And I would be surprised if that is possible. Because whatever we do, language is at the center. And that's why some of us are so excited talking about language issues, because it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Just like, the mathematical symbols like 1, 2, 3, 4, the numbers that you have got there, and the other symbols, language is also important. So guys, I really wanted just to discuss this issue with you so that you can be at ease. Relax. If you are doing linguistics, please note that we need linguists, whether we like it or not. Of course, in African space, we are still slow to recognize linguists, but linguists should be recognized wherever. Like, for example, in the courtrooms, you need linguists, qualified linguists, to explain certain concepts and even translate and even interpret. So interpretation, you can't just take someone from the street. If you take someone from the street, the person can mess up things, in the courtroom. So that's where you need qualified and trained linguists to deal with such issues. So guys, I hope you have learned something, 1 or 2 things about linguistics. I will still talk about language in society, the role that language plays in a society, in the videos to come. So up until that time, let me say goodbye to everyone. Bye bye.